Hello again! And since now it's been nearly 3 months since I started posting and 11 videos, I thought it would be time for me to share why I wanted to start YouTube, what I aim to do with it, my journey, etc. So for some background information, I was very much the academically talented, the gifted child, top of the class without much effort. I especially loved math and science classes, but there wasn't a specific thing I was actually passionate about. Like, I never had this clear and vivid career path that I could see myself in and really feel it from the guts. So then early enough, I started imagining myself becoming a mathematician or a scientist simply because they were my favorite subjects. But well, I guess without really knowing what I meant by it. And on top of being a gifted child, I was and I am a highly sensitive person, which makes me very empathetical, but also prone to being easily overwhelmed, not dealing with pressure too well, experiencing anxiousness, etc., when not in the right environment and when not taking well enough care of my emotional hygiene, as I'll truly learn only later on. But so then when end of high school came, I was first looking for very broad majors like math, physics, chemistry together, but then I thought I should go for something more concrete and specific, I guess because I was worrying about it being too overwhelming and also about careers. So I thought, why not astrophysics? Because I did love as a kid going to the planetarium, and well, space is so vast and beautiful and there's still so much to discover in it. So yeah, but yeah, then this choice was much more made in the spirit of thinking, okay, I need to choose a degree and well, this could do it, instead of a burning desire to discover more about a topic and therefore going to study it, which I definitely feel like it's a pity that, as I'm sure many other kids do, this pressure of needing to go to university instead of taking the time to discover my calling and explore. In other words, first finding that burning desire and then naturally going for the studies, trainings, which I believe should be the baseline. But also I am aware that I'm speaking from a very privileged position, having a family that is well off and so not needing to make money ASAP. So I went to Groningen in the Netherlands to study there, and already first block of the first semester I wasn't really enjoying the studies for so many both smaller and bigger reasons, both more practical and more importantly, I was realizing more and more that I didn't really find meaning in pursuing that path. Because well, although I do think that it's such a beautiful thing to seek to understand the workings of the universe, but when there are so many challenges that we're facing as a society, like global warming, consumerism, hyper-individualism, and well, any sort of division, I guess my HSP side couldn't quite stand the idea of turning a blind eye on these things for the sake of science and pursuing a noble career. But at the time, I didn't properly realize the reason behind my resistance to the studies and these conflicting emotions, and I rather subconsciously thought that there was something wrong with me or something. So I started seeking answers to my existential crisis with YouTube, my safe place, specifically videos that revolved around well-being or spirituality. And that's how I discovered so many beautiful souls like Lea Field or Hitomi Mochizuki, and through their stories, personal experiences and life lessons, that's when I started seeing so many of the subconscious thinking patterns and the paradigms that I was operating from. And so because of this sense of support and liberation that they were giving me by the second year of uni, that's when I started seriously considering the idea of doing YouTube myself a shot, because I wanted to pass on the gifts that these YouTubers had given me to other people. I nevertheless carried on with the bachelor's degree, mainly because my parents wanted me to have that safety net and agreed that after that I could take a gap year and experiment as much as I want. But it did start feeling more and more challenging to do something that didn't feel quite aligned with me, and so hitting my mental health real bad. The hardest part, I guess, was that I entered this vicious circle of not feeling great, but feeling like I don't deserve to be depressed, because on the outside I was doing great in the sense that I was passing all my courses no problem and so on, and therefore creating more resistance to my inner experience by not accepting and validating it, and therefore having trouble to talk about it and seeking the proper support that I needed, and so on. So yeah, I must say that was my personal experience of hell, but I'm also really learning to see the beautiful gifts of that experience, like it giving me the courage to live life to the fullest, however scary that may be, and getting better at validating my own experience, my uniqueness and myself, and much more. But so after finishing my degree last summer, I moved back here with my parents, for which I'm infinitely grateful that that was even a possibility. And well, I needed the first few months to take care and rebuild my mental health that had been left in shambles, as well as ease into and start finding my way in this completely new way of living where I'm 100% the master of my time and energy. This, amongst others, included going much more regularly to therapy, which I cannot stress enough, and practicing exerting my free will to the fullest by, for example, for the first time ever, solo travel and go outside of Europe, which was genuinely life-changing. But my breakthrough moment was actually my second solo trip in March this year, which was to both Japan and Korea, because although I had right before it filmed and even edited a couple of videos, it was through the big array of personal stories of all the wonderful people that I met, and seeing that each and everyone's story can be so different that I truly became okay with following this peculiar path of freelancing and content content creation. So basically, right when I came back from that trip, that's when I finally had the courage to dive right into it and post my first video on April 2nd, 2025. And it has been such a beautiful learning curve, both on the technical side, by learning so many new skills linked to audiovisuals and experimenting every time with new aspects, as well as the inner growth side of learning to ease perfectionism, to ease fear of being seen, to trust my inner voice, to ease fear of uncertainty, and so much more, which are of course very much ongoing, but the gains that I already acquired are just indescribable. And the journey has been made even more special and joyous by the surprisingly extremely positive reactions of friends and family, straight up giving me an extra pair of wings. Like the amount of sweet messages that I got from them, from comments, DMs, and in person, has been filling up my heart so much every single time. I'm so grateful that the universe has surrounded me with angels. Bless your souls. Being well received when being authentic is the ultimate gift. So yeah, as to what's the current state and near future plan, well, I'm planning on going strong with the one thing that is in my control, which is my consistency in posting, whilst on the side continuing with some little gigs, mostly tutoring in math and physics, to save up for future groundbreaking solo trips, as I've been doing since December, staying with my parents for finances to not be a burden for as long as they let me. And my ultimate hope is that I eventually get monetized and can live off content creation and being my authentic self and supporting causes that I believe in. This would truly be a dream come true, but I'm so happy to have found something that is much more aligned with my combination of Give the Child and HSP, which, although they often feel like opposite forces, when well balanced, they are so much stronger together. And I guess in the end, I have discovered my passion. Although it isn't the loud pull I imagined it to be, but rather the subtle, persistent voice that quietly waits and begs for you to lean into it. And as a note, apart from the camera and the 2 tripods that I asked for my birthday during the second year in uni, I'm not spending on anything to make these videos. Like, I'm editing them using DaVinci Resolve, which has a super complete free version and is really well known. I do my thumbnails using Canva. When doing voiceovers, I use my phone's mic. And when adding music, I just take them from the copyright-free YouTube audio library. And like, it's not even necessary to have an actual camera. As for example, I filmed my Brussels and Paris vlog using 100% my phone. This is just to say that the technical aspect shouldn't be an obstacle at all to content creation. And also, if like most people, myself very much included, you weren't born comfortable presenting in front of a camera, you simply need to be a little better at editing to cut out the stutters and blanks. Global warming, and it gets better with time. And when talking about how would it be perceived and all, I feel like we all tend to overthink it a bit, especially since at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what people around you think of it as long as it's aligned with you, and down the line you'll inevitably then find the people that click with you. So all in all, what I'm saying is, if you have been thinking about content creation, I urge you to just do it. Like I've been saying, the gains are absolutely immense, even without monetization. So go do it, I'm rooting for you. So yeah, I feel like this is a good summary of my YouTube journey so far. It feels really nice to introduce myself a bit more and to let you know what's up here. I want to take the time here to say thank you so much for every single view, like, comment, subscribe. It means the world to me, and I hope that together we'll reach new heights. Very excited for what the future holds. Until next time, take good care of yourselves, my loves. Yay, bye.